you don't live in Austin, do you?
No, I did live there for a stretch because I was doing shows with Chappelle and Rogan.
Right.
And I was, transitioning 2020, hashtag 2020. But I was there, but I live in Houston. I've been living in Atlanta for 4 months. I just wrapped the Black Adam superhero movie with The Rock. I did that, filmed that for 4 months, which was cool.
We're definitely going to talk about that. But yeah, so that was recent if you were doing shows with Chappelle and Rogan. So you did live here for a little bit.
No, I was there for like 3 months. Yeah.
Cool. And you shot your Netflix special at the Paramount, is that right?
Correct. Yeah, I shot it there, and I'm working on another Netflix special right now. Hence the kickoff to the tour, and no break.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm excited. So I thought I'd kick off in Austin before I had to DC and Chicago and San Diego and New York, just prepping.
Do you get to choose your spot when you get a Netflix special?
Yeah, you get to choose your venue. Yep.
And why did you pick Austin and the Paramount?
I know. Well, I know. Why did I do that? I'm just kidding. No, it's amazing. It's an amazing venue. No, I want to do Texas. And to be honest, I was trying to do Houston, my hometown, and it had just flooded. Just with Harvey and everything else. So a lot of the venues weren't ready. So, Austin is very much neutral territory, and it feels like a second home to me since I've, been in and out of Austin, for well over, I guess, 20 years now. So all my buddies went to UT that I grew up with, and we're still dear friends to this day. And, Austin is neutral territory in Texas. So you can do something. Yeah, if I did it in Dallas, I'd have to move.
And the Paramount is so beautiful.
It is. No, it's a historic venue as well, and has a great comedy history in Austin with Bill Hicks filming his special at the Laugh Stop when it was alive in the 80s, I think early 90s, late 80s, something like that. And so, it's a place where I always wanted to do it anyway. So it's where I did it. Yeah, that's why I did it. And it's an amazing venue, and I loved it. I've always loved performing at the Paramount.
That's cool. So does Houston have a big comedy scene?
Yeah, absolutely. It has a great, really rich comedy history as well. I just live in Houston. It's so funny because when I work so much out of Houston, when I come back, it's just, sleep time, relax time, catch up with the family time. So I don't really get out much in Houston. I try to keep it really low key. But absolutely, Houston has a really rich comedy history for sure, and a great scene.
Okay, so how did you get into comedy in the beginning? How old were you?
I was 14.
And you just realized you were funny?
No, I knew I was going to do stand-up when I was 10 years old. And at 14, my dad died, and I started skipping school all the time. And my English teacher, she's the one who changed my life, Mrs. Reed. She was like, "Don't you want to be a stand-up comedian, this and that? How would your father feel if you don't graduate?" And I was like, "Ooh, those are some cold bars, Mrs. Reed. This is a fresh wound. It's a fresh wound." So I was like, it'd be devastating because I was just failing everything. I didn't really care. And she goes, "Look, if you stop skipping school, I'll let you do stand-up in class every Friday. And you're failing right now, but if you go up in front of the class anytime you want and do a monologue from Shakespeare, just to warm up, basically, I'll give you extra credit." I was like, I'm so down with that. So I just went up in front of the class immediately. And right after she said that, I was like, "To be or not to be." So I started reading from the book, and next thing you know, I was doing stand-up every Friday in that class. And then after several weeks of doing, stand-up, she took me to the theater arts department. She was like, "This kid's been coming in, doing fresh material that I've never heard, doing all these different accents and act outs. I think he belongs here." I was just looking at Miss Kreiser, the theater teacher at the time, like, "Yeah, I think so too." Next thing you know, a year later, I was, doing theater and pretty much immediately started getting lead roles and was at the thespian festivals and doing my thing and excelled at it and kept doing stand-up in my classes the rest of my high school career. As a matter of fact, I would get out of other classes so I can do stand-up for my other teachers for their other classes that I wasn't even in. It was amazing. I would just like, okay, now we're from like skipping on purpose to now getting slips to skip on, legally within the system so I could do stand-up. I was doing like 3-4 shows a day. I was like not even in class. So it was pretty awesome. So I must have been really good at it.
What a good teacher too.
Changed my life, Mrs. Reed. Mrs. Reed, I've been trying to reach out to you on Facebook. I'm assuming that you just don't use your Facebook. I'm trying to find this thing. I really want to do something special for her since I'm doing so well.
Okay, so then obviously you've done shows with Dave Chappelle, kind of a big deal. Yeah. How did that happen?
So I met Dave like in 2007 when we were doing a separate tour called A Lot Made Me Funny, and just we became friends then. And then I was doing shows in the Bay Area. He was there at the same time, popped in. He was like, "You want to do a set?" This was like 2012, 2013 or something. I think 2012. I was like, "Yeah, I want to do a set." And he's like, "You want to come tomorrow? You want to come the next day?" And then next thing you know, we've done over 1,500 shows together. He introduced me into Paramount as well when I did my special, and been a mentor to me in this phase of my career to really truly understand the growth and what it feels like to be at this altitude. There's very few people that can mentor you through this kind of experience. So he's been a very good friend and brother to me and mentor. So now it's just like, now time for me to fly. So it's very, very nice experience. And yeah, just been an incredible mentorship and brotherhood between us.
What a wild thing. Dave Chappelle's
Yeah,
your
he
mentor.
believes in me like crazy. Yeah, I know. He believes in me so much, and his mom does too. His mom's just like such a huge fan. After we did Radio City Music Hall, she just, she made me cry, put it that way. She hugged me and she was like, "You're about 10 years away from where my son is, and you're amazing, and you have what my son has." Like I just was bawling. And to be even like, Dave is one of the greatest of all time, certainly greatest of our generation. I don't say that just because he's my friend and mentor. I've seen what the man does, and he is extraordinary. And so just to be even like mentioned like that by his mom and just broke me down. I was like hugging her at Radio City while everybody's around us, after a show. And I remember just crying on her shoulder, like, stop, no, don't stop, keep going, but stop. It was really cute. It was really sweet.
Man, it feels like you've been surrounded by a lot of people who support you. That's so great.
Yeah, I just work with the greats. What do you want me to do? I just work with Chappelle, Will Smith, Jon Stewart, The Rock. I don't know. They can't resist me. I don't know what it is.
I mean, you must be like pretty okay at what you do, I guess.
I don't know. They just keep calling me, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll show up. All right, whatever.
Okay, so 2020 obviously had a huge effect on everybody. Did you how did that affect you? Because I don't know, you can't do, when there's no live events, you can't do your shows. It's kind of hard to stream comedy, I would assume, considering you can't tell if people are laughing or not.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It's been a long career and lots of ups and downs. And where you think that COVID would be another down, for me, it finally leveled up. I feel like finally leveled up. It was not that it wasn't hard, of course, it was really difficult. But I decided to stop touring, strategically. February 29th, 2020 was my last tour date. It was with Dave in Oslo, Norway. And I came back to Houston, and I'm supposed to start writing my TV series that I'm working on for Netflix. So that was strategically already there. And then Chappelle started doing shows in a cornfield in Ohio. and he invited me there. So I had, like 60 shows with him up there, and writing my TV show. So it just never stopped. As a matter of fact, I was like busier than ever, more stressed out than I've ever been. And it was really grueling, emotionally, I think spiritually, mentally, I think it was more difficult than I've ever, like most people, right? And that's something that I tapped into with my stand up and really just getting deeper and deeper into it. And it just was really freeing, quite frankly, as a person of my background, as an Arab American Muslim who has found it very difficult to talk about certain topics. I found that, COVID has freed me more than ever because the distrust is higher than ever. So people, that normally would be focused on other things realize that there's a lot of lies out there and a lot of cover-ups, and they need to be relieved of that stress, and through stand-up and through relating to that distrust through my stand-up has been really invigorating and freeing for me. So it's just been that type of year. Of course, I got divorced, just like everybody else in COVID. That's what people do, people, either you're going to get pregnant or you're divorced. So I was on the other side of that. So it's just like, emotion is fine, like I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Are you doing okay?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. Don't worry.
If
Don't
you
worry
cry,
about me.
I'll
Hold
cry,
on.
Mo.
I gotta turn off my
cry.
camera. I'm doing great. It was a rough go, but the rougher it is, the funnier I get, I guess. It was not on purpose.
Okay, tell me about your Netflix show is it out? You're writing it?
Yeah, so it's not really public knowledge, but the hell with it.
Okay.
So yeah,
you don't have to share it.
I'm filming it very soon.
Okay.
I'm filming it very, very soon, and it will be out next year.
One thing that is out
like
is
in the spring.
Ramy. We can talk about that. How much fun is that show? It's got to be fun.
It's so much fun. It's my friends. I'm working with my friends, having a ball and just showing up and acting a fool and yelling at Ramy and getting out of there. It's great. Which I do anyway. That's constantly yelling at Ramy.
I feel like it has to be so fun to be the role that's like everybody's excited to see you every time you're on the screen and like just listen to what you have to say.
Oh, that's sweet. I don't know that, but people have been telling me that. I don't ever think of that way, but it has been that kind of response, and that's just, I don't know, makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
Good. It should. And did you, because you said that you did like the drama classes, you were doing stand-up when you were in high school. Were you also doing comedic acting? Like, when did you realize like, oh,
that was the only time.
A great actor? Okay.
Yeah, it was the only time I just did high school theater. That's it. So everything else has just been, training and having that experience and watching some of the greats do what they do as well, and just kind of learning over time. So it was very natural for me, to do television or film. I'm figuring out a lot about myself that I can, really instinctual. Of course, like I do the groundwork on certain characters and kind of play with them. But this was, all of it is very natural to me. It feels really easy, honestly. Like it's not, I'm not trying to say this to boast or be anything. It's just like, I find it really fun and easy. Just very natural. It's just, I learned my lines that morning. I'm on set and just, it's really easy. I don't know what to say. It just comes very natural. It's all you have to do is listen and react, and make sure that you're natural. And some people, that's a lot of work, and I'm grateful that it's not for me. Boy, would that be hard. Like I just can't imagine somebody being nervous. I guess it's just, so much experience in stand-up and doing some of the biggest venues and shows, and so much at stake at those events, and to be able to just excel at that makes everything kind of easy, although it's a completely different ballgame. You have cameras all around you, there's like 100 people, there's this and that, and now you have to perform, and you have to be great, and you have to be natural and deliver what you're, to tell this story as you're doing film or television. And I just found it to be like just really comforting and easy and natural. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Do you get nervous before you go on stage?
It's a really good question. I don't. I don't get nervous. I get excited. I get butterflies. Um, and it's part of like because I really care. Um, Chappelle's the one who taught me this. He's like, he feels it, everybody feels it, feel something in their gut. And if you don't, you should really get out of the business. If you don't feel something in your gut, in your belly, then you're really not into it. And for me, it's not nervous, it's I really care. And I care so much. I feel it in my belly, and I feel it there. And it's just harnessing that and understanding that's where it's come from makes it so much easier to do what I'm supposed to do. So, and it just excites you rather than thinking like, oh, I'm nervous. Am I gonna remember? None of that happens. I've been doing this 22 years since I was a baby. So for me, it's just like it's second nature to walk on stage and to speak my mind and have it prepared or not prepared. Doesn't matter. It's me that matters. As long as I'm there mentally, then you can do anything. You can perform anywhere, anytime. Truly. Yeah. No.
Um, that's pretty cool. So what can people, are these things that you wrote during 2020? Is that what you'll be sharing
Yeah.
with people?
Yeah. So I did before the pandemic. I was touring already, so I had a ton of material there, and then I had everything that I wrote in 2020, and I continue to write. So there's a lot of stuff that that I'm going to be sharing. It's a lot of prep for what I'm about to tape also in September for Netflix. So it's just really just going on this journey. I've been filming this movie for 4 months, so I've been doing that, and it's so consuming. And that was a whole entire different experience. That is the real deal. That can be, if you're not around and you don't have an experience, boy, I could see people crumbling in that type of situation. It doesn't get bigger than a $250 million superhero movie where you have to just literally, okay, Mo, are you ready? All right, we're gonna do this now. We're gonna set up this scene. I don't like this scene though. I need you to come up with a line. It has to be a quick line to button it up. Okay, it has to be really funny. That's why you're here. This is the line. Okay, we don't have a line for you, but you need to come up with it. Okay, I was like, cool. So you guys are gonna set up. I'll be right back. He's like, no. We're going right now. It's already set up. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3. Okay, throw him down. Do that line. You have to come up with a line. All right, let's do. How many more you got? I was like, as many as you want, which is bullshit. I don't have anything. I was like, as many as you want. And I'm like standing there waiting. I hope it comes. I hope it comes. Yeah, I have to deliver it, and it's like literally hundreds of people and millions of dollars at stake. Every shot's like 50 grand or something stupid, 100 grand. And you better deliver.
You're stressing me out just thinking about it.
I know. I was stressed. I was in the thick of it. It was great. Now that was like the first week of shooting, and thankfully I delivered. I had 3 amazing lines for that situation, and the director was like, "You have more?" I was like, "Yeah, give me like 5 minutes. I'll go write you 10 lines." Like just so it was that kind of thing. So I don't care anymore. I feel like I have a PhD. That's how I feel.
You deserve it. Okay, that's called Black Adam, right?
Yes, Black Adam. They'll come out next year, 29th, which is today, a year from today.
Wow, the countdown is on.
The countdown is on. I'm what can I say? I'm a TV and action star now and stand up. Like I don't know. It's crazy.
You've done it all. Do you have any books? Have you written a book yet?
Actually, I'm in the middle of writing one. Yeah, I'm doing that. I have. I had
Right.
the chapters completely set out like about 8 years ago, and I never stepped into it until now. I started writing. I had like the titles for each chapter, but I just started filling them out. It's funny you say that.
And what is that book going to be about?
It's about my life. I think it'll be a nice marriage between that and the TV show. So it'll be it's a detailed life of detailed you know biography of what I've had to go through over the last 22 years with my background, and I have a lot of stories to tell, a lot of experiences. Been to 50 countries doing stand up. It's traveling the world without a passport or performing throughout the South, or some family tragedy or experiences that you can share. And I think it can help a lot of people. And that's what I hear from my stand up and what fans have told me. And so I feel like these stories are really important to inspire a younger generation to come through after. And if I can do that and contribute and create a situation where there's a piece of work that exists, literature that exists, that details what I've had to go through to get here, maybe it'll be a roadmap for somebody else.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to take up more of your time, but
I love talking
appreciate-
to you.
I
It's
love
so
talking to
fun
you
talking
too.
to you.